Welcome to the pre-Christmas edition of the PFF Forecast. It's going to be a wonderful episode. We, of course, have Seth Galina. No Tage Seth, because as you remember from Thanksgiving, Tage has to do kind of young person things on the holidays. So I think he's like going to a casino or something. He sent us good vibes and some locks, so we'll be good there. And then, of course, we have Judah Fortgang to talk alt spreads and live betting strategy. It's going to be a great podcast. Let's rock. Seth, you always have reminded me of Scrooge, little Grinch kind of mixed in. Is that kind of how you think about yourself during the Christmas season?
Not just the Christmas season,
Just
24
always.
hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Yeah, that's me. Just always in a grouchy mood. I'd like to think of it more as the kind of dark brooding type rather than grouchy,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but probably not.
You are kind of dark and brooding, but it's in a kind of a aloof way, right? Because you know so much about football, so you can kind of get away with it. As evidenced by the hat that you're wearing, obviously, football guy.
Yeah.
So the games this week are weird. We've got Thursday night as normal. The Sunday night game is on Sunday, but it's a part of a weird slate. Most of the games are on Saturday. We have 3 games on Sunday. They all stink to high heaven. So hopefully you can provide us with some ways that we might capitalize on Cardinals Bucks. But let's start with what I think is actually a game everyone's excited for: Jets and Jaguars, meeting of obviously Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, number 1 and number 2 picks. Wilson is going to play with Mike White being out again. The Jets are a favorite in this game by 1.5 points. The total is at 37.5. Last week, the Jets not quite able to get it done, lost to the Lions. And Zach Wilson had nearly 40% of his throws negatively graded, which is an astronomical figure. So Seth, as you start to break this one down, like I think everyone's probably going, well, if the Jets are going to win, they've got, their defense is going to have to come through. Is that where the kind of biggest matchup advantage lies in this game, or are you looking elsewhere?
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought about, was because you look at the Jets last week playing against Detroit, and without Quentin Williams on the field, had a little bit of issues with the defensive line. Now, it is generally a good defensive line, and it is a deep defensive line. And the Lions on their side do have a good offensive line, and it felt like the Lions were able to get some double teams going, and at least like the first 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, the Jets kind of made some plays with the defensive line, but now you get Quentin Williams back going against the guard Shatley from Jacksonville, Luke Fortner, the center, rookie center. So I really like that mismatch. Quentin Williams has been, one of the best top 3 interior defensive linemen in the league the last couple of years, definitely this season. So getting him back is huge, because like I said, they kind of got pushed around against Detroit last week without him.
And they've got, I guess, on the interior, you look at the Jags, they have their right guard 55th graded, center 36th out of 39 graded, left guard 41st out of 86 guards graded. Their offensive line is not particularly strong, and so kind of sticks out as being an opportunity where maybe it makes sense, even though the Jets have the worst quarterback in this group, being favored. But I thought it was interesting because, like, I don't know, Zach Wilson kind of stunk. I could easily see the Jags being favored in this game.
I think
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, they went up against the Cowboys, and the offensive line held up fairly well. One note there: Cam Robinson is out for this game. I think he's out for the season. But Walker Little might be one of the best young swing tackles in the entire NFL. So that is a good guy to have there to fill in for him. Hasn't played a ton, but has looked good when doing so. So my question's a little bit more towards next year, but I just had to ask. I think we saw this season with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, just kind of what bringing over AJ Brown did for Devontae Smith. Plays off the line, gets free releases, does a lot of different things that enables him to be productive, successful. He also sometimes just sees number two corners, like last week in Chicago. They throw Jalen Johnson on AJ Brown a bunch and kind of leave him open. So the Jaguars are bringing Calvin Ridley next year. How can that open up their offense? What can that do for them beyond just adding Calvin Ridley? What are the dynamics that he brings when you kind of add him to that room they already have in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, I like him. Obviously, I have a thing for the kind of smaller outside receivers. Like, I think when we think about outside receivers, we're always thinking about the big play guy, big body guy, sorry, who can go up and make contested catches and stuff like that. And there's obviously been a ton of great ones over the history of the league, but I do like the smaller guys who are quick in the ruts. And you just mentioned, Devonta Smith and the Eagles is kind of, now he's an extreme example of how small he is, but he's that type of player, plays outside even with even in like a slot receiver body type of thing. Calvin Ridley, kind of the same thing, plays outside but has speed, route running, and everything like that. And I think it just gives them, when you look at this team, and it's a testament to Doug Peterson and how well Trevor Lawrence has played recently, where, every new game, there's a new receiver going for like a career day. Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk. So I think just giving, and I think those aren't great players. I like Kirk in the slot a bit, but Jones outside, both Joneses outside, Marvin Jones and Zay Jones outside. I think with Ridley in the fold next year, it just gives him a better player out there. And I think that'll certainly help whoever ends up playing on the opposite side. I don't know if it'll, who knows, probably one of the two Joneses, but Ridley just gives him, finally gives Trevor Lawrence a number one receiver. I think Christian Kirk is a good number two, especially in the slot, but Calvin Ridley could be a really good number one for him. And they need that right now. They need like a safety blanket type of player. With that said, Trevor Lawrence seems like he might be him right now. So it doesn't matter. It might not matter. Him and Doug are scheming it up, and Trevor is on fire. So this might be the guy who we all thought we were going to get when he was drafted first overall.
You would have thought, the Cowboys were going to be kind of a really good litmus test, right? They have good pass rush, a pretty good defense overall. They come back and they win that game, put up 40 points. Now, aided by a pick six that won the game, but nonetheless, impressive from an offensive performance. Jets defense really solid. They get Quentin Williams back. They have 2 top 10 graded corners. Sauce Gardner, who's a rookie and the highest graded corner in the league. Is this like, I think we've been really quick to anoint Trevor Lawrence because he was preordained, because he was the number 1 overall pick. He was, a kind of like the Andrew Luck type of prospect. And so you want to be proven right? That's like what everyone wants. Like, I don't know. I'm a little cautious, Seth. Are you going to tell me otherwise, that like he's just going to keep rolling over teams? Or are you a little concerned because Sauce Gardner is awesome, DJ Reed is awesome, Quentin Williams is back? Like, how do you think about that?
Yeah, I think long-term, Trevor is the guy. I've seen enough now. I've seen it. Short-term, in terms of Thursday night, the weather is going to be awful. Rain, wind. So short-term, I just don't know what to expect. And I don't love the matchups there because if you're talking about a rain wind game, and we just talked about how we feel like the Jets can control the trenches in that way, I don't love it so much. And like you said, like, the outside corners, DJ Reed having a career year, Sauce Gardner looks like the guy on the outside as a rookie. We just said Marvin Jones, Zay Jones on the outside, you're the greatest duo in the world playing out there. So I do think that in the rain, I guess I just don't know what to expect. I don't want to say I don't love it, because I do think Trevor Lawrence is that good. But once the skies open up like that, I think it's tough to tell.
Okay, so 1.5 is the spread, 37.5 is the total. Start with you, Brad. Where are you going in this game?
Yeah, so the Jets defense is incredible, a top unit, but one area where this might just be splicing sample sizes, but quick passes in under 2.5 seconds, they're actually 18th in EPA per drop back. You can't catch them with some quick outs. So for that reason, actually, Seth, you mentioned kind of a different receiver going off each week, but Jamal Agnew over 8.5 receiving yards. He's kind of been their gadget guy. They put him at H-back. They put him in the slot. They kind of use him all over. I think he'll get some quick screens or, kind of quick outs with the bad weather, with a good defense, good defensive line. I like him over 8.5 receiving yards.
Look, yeah, they had him a couple really nice end arounds, like basically the same play, two nice little reverses, I guess I'd call them, to Agnew. Picked up, I think, 10 and then 20 yards. So yeah, good little gadget player they have.
What about you, Seth? Where are you going in this one?
I don't have the exact number. I was looking this up before. Jets team under, it should be around 17, something like that, maybe even less. But I think if you see it at 17, I would go under. Zach Wilson is not good, and they're going to have to run the football. The Jaguars know they're going to have to run the football. Obviously, Trayvon Walker is not going to be available in this game, but Zach Wilson is like, he might be the worst quarterback in the league. Honestly, he might be like one of the top, bottom 20 players in the league right now. Like, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. Maybe he figures it out at some point, but right now it is tremendously bad. Like you said, the accuracy alone, like, let's not even talk about making the right reads. It's just talking about like throwing the ball accurately on a slant to his receiver, and he can't even do that. So it's not good. The offensive line has been okay given all the injuries and stuff like that, but I don't think it's enough to carry them. Breece Hall not being available, they haven't been able to be super explosive in the run game.
Yeah,
they've been good, but not explosive. It's a problem. Jets team under, whatever you can get it at.
That's definitely the reason that Zach Wilson's not throwing the ball accurately, is there's no Breece Hall there, as I've said for a while. I'm going Zach Wilson as well, under 17.5 completions. It's minus 115 for all of the reasons that Seth just articulated. It just, like, especially they're slight favorite here. If they do have a lead, there's one thing I can guarantee, and that's that they're not going to let Zach Wilson throw with a lead. There's absolutely no reason to. So that's where I'm rolling. But I also really like the Jags as a teaser here. We talk about this with teaser legs all the time. Low total. This is 37.5. The better quarterback, getting that 7.5 points with Trevor Lawrence. So we'll look to that in the locks. Let's go to Sunday night with what everyone thought was going to be a really great game at the start of the year. And now it's Tom Brady versus, is it going to be Colt McCoy? Is it Trace McSorley
season, baby?
Oh, God. McSorley was dreadful. I mean, absolutely dreadful against the Broncos. I might have been able to cover that game at quarterback. But so Seth, in this game, obviously a pretty big mismatch from a quarterback perspective. Where is the kind of non-quarterback mismatch, if there is one, that you're looking at?
Mike Evans versus whoever the Cardinals play at cornerback. Marco Wilson, Antonio Hamilton, Byron Murphy, I probably is not going to play again this week, though I'm not exactly sure. It's so, first of all, you look at last week, obviously we know Mike Evans is really good. You see him absolutely torch whoever was covering him, the Bengals. The Bengals played a lot of man coverage. Now the Cardinals don't play a lot of man coverage, but their cover 3, which is their most used coverage, plays out a lot like man, and very soft man in what it ends up being. Evans will torch them. Like, you just can't. He's going to run in breakers. He's going to run out breakers. Like, it doesn't matter what he does. He is going to be targeted a lot, I think. So I don't have the number. I don't think it's out yet. But Evans over, 6.5, something like that. I think maybe 5.5, hopefully, would be really nice. I think that's the biggest mismatch.
Yeah, I was going to say, getting right to it. That was where my head went as well. Marco Wilson, 52.4 PFF grade, is 103rd. What struck me in looking at on PFF.com at the lineup was that Isaiah Simmons is now, like, is he playing in the slot? What is going on with Isaiah Simmons right now, Seth?
So started the year off getting torched against the Chiefs. They played a ton of man coverage in that game, couldn't hold up. And he's actually been a lot better since they've gone to more zone. He's the nickel, big body, drop into his zone, use kind of your instinct. He's been better. Hopefully he figures it out at some point. And if you can get I don't think he's a man coverage guy. And this is the issue because you play him a nickel, you're going to have to play man at some point.
Mhm.
Now, like I said, they don't play any man anymore, which is you gotta do it sometimes. Cardinals, come on. But you saw him at Clemson. He played a whole bunch of different positions. Played safety. That's tough to play safety at his body size in the NFL. So that was never going to be a thing. So you're like, okay, well, you move him to linebacker. Linebacker is a tough position to learn, and there just aren't a lot of good linebackers. Like that was always going to be tough. So you bring him to nickel, but he's got to be able to play man at some point. Like I said, been better the second half of the season. Just would love to see him be better at man going forward.
Yeah, I mean, he got outright benched at one point, but it has been pretty good. Had a nice interception a couple weeks ago. One other mismatch, just to throw it out there, just for some positive Cardinals vibes. Zach Allen, who should be back for this game, didn't play last week, but him and JJ Watt are quietly second and third in quarterback hits among interior defenders. They've been good. They've both been good. Play off each other. Watt's really been honestly on a tear the last like 6-8 weeks. And then obviously for the Buccaneers offensive line, you have Robert Hainsey at center still. Was it Nick Leverett at left guard? So you probably could take advantage of that to a degree, but I think we all see it the same way. So again, another kind of future question, but I found it interesting. Kyler Murray with that torn ACL, probably going to miss, I don't know, 8-10 games next year, if not more. We had that obviously this year in Cleveland, and Jacoby Brissett came in, was honestly pretty good, made them at least a competitive team for most of the year. Seth, if you had to find a guy, let's say hypothetically, it's still Cliff Kingsbury's offense, so that probably does play into your answer here a little bit. Who's the backup journeyman guy they can bring in to start 10, 11 games to maybe keep them afloat, in the NFC West next year?
The first thing that pops into my head is Andy Dalton. I think that we're seeing the Andy Dalton this year for the Saints that we kind of expected once he left Cincinnati. So he went to the Cowboys for a year, had to play a lot of games because of the Dak Prescott injury, played for the Bears last year and started games as well. I believe so. I could be wrong about that, but he was awful. He was awful. Like not even close to I know, Dalton, middle of the pack type of quarterback, not even close to that when he came in and played for the Cowboys and the Bears. Now we're seeing the guy who I think a lot of people thought was really when he left the Bengals was going to be the perfect backup quarterback. And we're finally seeing it taking over for Jameis Winston after week 3 or 4, whatever it was, and playing awesome football. Like I'm shocked by how good he is playing this season. And 1-year deal, obviously he'll be a free agent. So I think this would be a really good pickup for the Cardinals.
The Cardinals, it's so interesting that Steve Keim news, it seems like, right, Brad, he's stepping away or whatever that is.
Seems that way, yeah.
Is that boat, do you think that means Cliff is safe?
It's interesting. They both just signed extensions through 2027 this past offseason. I don't know if Cliff is safe, but there aren't really a ton of indications that he's on some super hot seat that maybe we all, think he is. It's kind of a lost season regardless next year. So there's probably an argument to why would you fire him and then bring in a new coach who has to coach, a backup quarterback for the entire year, most of it. But yeah, who knows in Arizona, man? It's been bad.
It's getting worse. So this line opened 3.5. Obviously, the quarterback news and maybe a little bit of more pessimism around the Cardinals. This is now out to 7.5. Cardinals at home as an underdog, total 40.5. So with Trace McSorley, Seth, where are you going in this one?
Yeah, so like I said, look for the Mike Evans receptions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you should get a lot of targets. I think with this one, I don't know, man. The Bucs aren't good. The Bucs are I think we want to believe in the Bucs. We continue because we look at the players, but they are just not good. So I think I want to go with an under here, under 40.5. I think that's pushing it a little bit, but like Brad said, what do the Cardinals do best on defense? Rush the passer from the inside. What do the Bucs not do well is protect Brady from the inside. Mm-hmm. That could knock them off the game. So if they can't get anything going offensively, I sure don't think the Cardinals are getting anything going offensively. So the under could be in play there. Everyone listening to this is going to watch the game because I know you're all freaks, but it might not be a good one.
Did you not see anything from the Bucs last week? I watched that game and I was like, there's some things there, they ran a ton of play action in the first half. maybe that's me being wishful, but did you see anything that makes you think they're turning it around?
Yeah, I mean, like it was one of these weird games where they had no reason to lose the game, but this quote unquote fluky stuff, two fumbles, the interception. Brady obviously does not throw a lot of interceptions, and the defense played really, really well. Like that is a thing that I think they can at least have a foothold there. Is just the defense is good right now. They totally shut down the Bengals. The Bengals really only had short fields that they converted on. So I thought that was a really good game by the Bucs defense. And like I said, offensively, they had some stuff going. I think that to me, the issue is, and like I said, I like them versus, I don't like them versus zone teams generally, because it forces Brady to go to his second, third, fourth progressions. And he does not want to do that right now. He wants to get rid of the football. He doesn't want to take hits. But like I said, this matchup, not great, because I just don't like the way the Cardinals play their zone defense. So that's where I kind of agree that I think the Bucs could do some stuff offensively, but it's like, man, we keep saying this about this team. That's where I'm at. Like I want to believe it as well, because again, Brady and Evans and Godwin and all those players, but like the interior offensive line is no good. They can't run the football. Donovan Smith holds on every play. Like they're actually bad. Like they're actually just bad. And the Saints are going to win the division. So there you go.
Dark and brooding, I think, is like on point here. Brad, what about you, man?
Yeah, I just realized we're talking Andy Dalton. The Cardinals' motto is "See Red," so it's a great fit for the Red Rifle. But yeah, so you mentioned Mac Evans, but you also then mentioned how Isaiah Simmons is playing in the slot. Maybe no Byron Murphy in this game. So I like Chris Godwin. I'm sure any Buccaneers pass catcher you could probably could talk yourself into liking this game. But I also think we talked about how they're going to generate most of their pressure from the interior. Maybe Brady kind of throws into pressure. Is looking that way over the middle and sees a lot of Chris Godwin getting wide open. So that's my play there.
I'm all in on the Evans play. I hear all of those points around the Cardinals being a little plucky in this one with Colt McCoy. Like I totally get it. But I actually think I might do a little Thursday night, Sunday night tease. Tease the Bucs down to 1.5, tease the Jags out to 7.5. And in Tom Brady and Trevor Lawrence, I trust. But I am rolling with Mike Evans and Seth, no doubt about it. Seth, it's time for your Christmas pet peeve. I hope that this is a really good one. I hope it has something to do with like something that everyone loves about Christmas that you somehow hate.
Nope. This is a very technical quarterback thing. So get ready. So I think, and I got this from watching Trevor Lawrence this week, and then Justin Herbert does a really good job of this as well. Obviously, we love it when quarterbacks step up in the pocket, right? We talk about it, commentators talk about it all the time, step up in the pocket. There are examples and situations where sidestepping in the pocket and like kind of doing a backward side hitch is going to buy you time from an inside rush, from even sometimes an outside rush, mostly an inside rush. And the two guys who do it the best, like I said, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert. So watch for that on Thursday night, him doing that. So again, it's kind of a pet peeve, but just like you don't always have to step up in the pocket. You can sidestep if you're getting like an inside rush or something like that, and keeping the main thing. And again, both these guys do it. They keep the integrity of the pass concept, of the timing of the play intact while they're doing it. And yeah, those are two of the 5 best quarterbacks over the next 10 years, I think, are those two.
Is that why Justin Herbert is the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and no one wants to give him that credit?
He is the second best quarterback in the NFL right now. That's right. Andy Dalton, and then
You're right.
and then Justin Herbert. Yeah, that's what I figured.
Taysom Hill's also in the top 5 somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense. That is an undisputable top 5. Seth, we wish you a happy holiday, a wonderful and Merry Christmas, and we will talk to you on the other side, brother. Thank you so much. Go follow Seth, PFF_Seth, dark, brooding, everything that you could need.
See you guys. Happy holidays.
This Christmas season, a great gift for anybody, especially if they're a football fan. You can get this for anybody. You can get this for your mom if you want. A little PFF Plus subscription. maybe it'd be a hit with the moms. I don't know, actually. Hey, mom, I really want you to watch more football with me. Here is a PFF subscription. But go to pff.com or the PFF app and buy a friend a subscription. Sign up with their email. They'll get in a little email. It'd be cool. And then they can be better at betting, better at fantasy, better friend to you and everyone else. If you're not looking for a PFF subscription, though, and by the way, if you are, promo code Forecast gets you 25% off. So just use that. If you're not, though, Manscaped is another option for you to give the gift of looking and feeling better. Manscaped offers a lot of different ways to do that. The one that I personally use is the Lawnmower 4.0 because you can trim your body hair without trimming other parts of your body that you would like to keep on your body. That's generally a good thing. They also have this platinum collection, the platinum package 4.0, which comes with a bunch of other really great stuff as well. And you can use Forecast 20 as the promo code and get 20% off. So get all of the great stuff that they have. But I don't know, people are, there's a lot of reasons why you should use it. The battery lasts, it doesn't cut you. But the biggest thing is in 2023, feel better about yourself. Improve your confidence as a human being. This is a good way to do it with Manscaped and the Lawnmower Platinum Package, whatever you want to call it, 4.0. Free shipping and 20% off with promo code Forecast. Another great thing to do this holiday season is to prepare yourself financially for the year to come. And you can do that at Western Southern, our friends who help you with any financial need that you have. Seriously, anything. You're starting a family, want to make your money grow, want to buy a home, maybe not right now, but you're thinking about how do I prepare myself for that? Don't do it at the last minute. Go prepare yourself. Be ready for it at westernsouthern.com/PFF and get yourself started on the road to financial freedom. Last but not least, our friends at Underdog. Everyone thinks that fantasy ends basically now. That's not true at all. Underdog is best ball fantasy, which means you can play it at any time of the year. You can start it up, and they have a playoff best ball tournament with $1 million in total prizes, $100K to first place. It's called the Gauntlet. It's open now to sign up. It's so easy. Draft a team. That's it. You don't have to do all this mumbo jumbo during the playoffs. You just draft and then win. And you need to go make that happen ASAP right now. So go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app. If you haven't signed up yet, use promo code PFF and get your first deposit for up to $100 matched. That's promo code PFF at Underdog Fantasy. We now welcome in our good friend, Judah Fortgang at Throw the Damn Ball. It's one of the better names on Twitter for as long as Twitter lasts. You can check him out there, but you can also check him out on PFF.com and the PFF app. Writes fantastic content. Same game parlays, won multiple this year. You should definitely go check them out. Our favorites to talk about are the alt spreads and live betting strategy because we're degenerates and that's what we do. So he writes content on that as well. And we're going to talk to him about it as we do every single week. Judah, welcome. Happy holidays. Hopefully you're enjoying so far. I'm guessing that it would make it a lot better if we made it through Saturday and Sunday with some alt spreads and some live betting here. So let's start with the alt spreads. What's kind of your favorite heading into this weekend?
Yeah, I'm liking some the Bengals running it back from last week. Okay, I think the take here is that if you take a season-long view at the Patriots, you'll see they've got the number one pass EPA, and over the past couple weeks, the number one run EPA too. But I think that's kind of a little bit deceptive in the sense that the Patriots have played mostly backups this entire season, and if you filtered out games against their backups, the team's 19th in pass EPA. They're 22nd by my metric. Joe Burrow's not a backup quarterback. He's anything but that. And the Bengals, top 5 offense, kind of however you want to piece that together. What's interesting, though, is pricing, right? You can say, okay, maybe that's priced in. The Bengals are implied for 3 fewer points than their season-long average. Burrow's passing props are way down. But I want to fade that because I don't think the Patriots are truly the number one pass defense. I think they're kind of middle of the pack. And that's no matchup to kind of be scared away. The other part is just that run defense has been great, as we kind of illustrated. Their top 10 rush EPA over the course of a season, and that's only improved as the season has gone along. Basically, however you want to define it, it's 6 weeks, they'll be top 3, pass 4, it's number 1. The Bengals are totally unafraid to pass. They've got a 7.5% pass rate over expected. We know how they want to win. I want to take a little bit of Bengals alt spread because I think they're the far superior team. And I also want to combine that, basically saying the Bengals are going to win through Joe Burrow.
All right. Oh, go ahead, George.
I was just going to say it's 24 degrees is the weather there in Foxborough. I wonder if that's being baked in, but I have faith. His name is Joe Burr for a reason. God, that's horrible. Cut that, please. That's, right. That's so
leave that part in. Leave that bad joke in. Yeah. He's from Ohio, too. He knows the cold weather. Joey Burr. So, we always talk a lot about this stuff and how you generally should avoid it. Emotions and need to win and all that stuff. But George quipped on Sunday, and I do agree with him, even though I took the Bengals already. But from a live betting standpoint, when you have a team coming off maybe the most embarrassing and worst loss humanly imaginable in the way the Patriots lost, with Jacoby Myers throwing it to Mac Jones / Chandler Jones, do you maybe at all look into, all right, they're going to come out strong or any of that stuff, or try to bake it in, or is it all just noise and you can just kind of safely avoid it, if not fade it, to a degree?
I mean, I'm planning on fading it only because I, number one, don't see a way to possibly quantify that. And number two, ultimately it's going to be about talent. I think that's what's going to play out. And you can be so well coached, but ultimately have Mac Jones at quarterback and you have a defense that I don't think is equipped to stop Joe Burrow. There's only so much coaching can do. They're not really on the field. But yeah, I mean, I guess, look, we'll see if they're, perfect game plan and execution. That's also the other part about coaching. And I guess it's a little bit off tangent. It's Matt Patricia's coaching the offense. It's not like he's going to magically discover the good offensive plays. I'm not too concerned.
Yeah, I think
back into McDaniel's computer at the facility and go that folder of the good ones.
Yeah, I think the problem is that they need a good one at quarterback to do some of that, which Bengals certainly have. Let's go to live betting this week. Obviously, there's Saturday, full slate, and Sunday. So where are you looking there, Judah?
Yeah, so let's start with Dolphins-Packers on Sunday, actually. Something I've been noticing over the past couple of weeks is that markets kind of start to get a uniform. This is especially true in passing and receiving props. That when a team is leading by a certain amount, it's kind of just going to take whatever that total is at that point in time. Say a quarterback has 180 passing yards, and it's going to add basically the same total based on how much time is remaining and how much the team leads. But there's a way to kind of take advantage of that by looking at team tendencies, which is the Dolphins. When they take a huge lead, they pass way more than the average team. Most teams are passing a little bit below expectation. The Dolphins are 13% above expectation. And the way I want to capitalize on that, basically saying the market's pricing in that average. I want to say the Dolphins are particular. They're going to keep passing. I'm going to want to bet the Tua passing overs, depending on a few other game factors, maybe including some Hill and Waddle receiving overs, basically saying this Dolphins team is going to continue passing late into the game, and the market's not really pricing that in properly. A second angle, this one on Saturday. I guess the Vikings experience goes both ways in that they're never out of a game, but also when they go up by a lot, the opposing team is never out. I'm going to be looking for the Giants on the comeback here, and there are a couple of reasons why. First off, Minnesota has been, as we've said numerous times, and it's come to fruition numerous times, much better scripted than not, and the opposite is true of the Giants, who have struggled to start games and have come back strong. That's one data point. The second is Minnesota has the fifth worst EPA playing from a pretty big lead when their win probability is 65% or more, which has been true every single year of the Kirk Cousins era. We're running 5 straight. I don't think it's a coincidence at this time. The Giants best EPA when they're coming back. We saw it again on Sunday Night Football. They've been doing it time and time again this year. Surprising that they are continuing to come back in games. I'm looking for a line right now, which is 4.5. If that gets out to 7.5, I think the Giants are going to come back and make it close. I'll take the spread there, possibly sprinkle on the money line as well.
Yeah, I like that.
Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I've interrupted you now twice, which is great juju for me. I was gonna say I like that Giants angle, but go ahead, Brad.
I was going to say, so you touched on a point there. This is a data point that I think actually, Eric, you tweeted out, but we've been talking about it a bunch, and that's pass rate when you're leading. And the Vikings and Kirk Cousins are at the bottom of that chart. When they have a lead, they do not throw the football. Do you look into, neutral script or non-neutral script pass rate as it relates to putting teams away versus a bunch of backdoor covers? Like, was it more than just the scripted plays in Minnesota? Was it some of that as well? Just how they play, when they are ahead, they're just so conservative, probably because of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, so I've looked into that. I did most of this last year actually, and what was weird is that there weren't, tangibly any like differences, and as far as we can quantify, there was no like schematic difference. The run pass ratio is at least like expected or relatively normal, meaning like nothing drastically changes. It's got to be something in the play style. It's got to be something of like the conservative nature of Kirk Cousins, and like I think as like Eric would say, like wanting to kind of pad the stats, like not throwing interceptions instead of continuing to kind of gain yards down the field and play as you would in a neutral script or when they're down. But it's certainly been true over it's 5 years. Like you can't be ignoring it.
Yeah, it's I think Eric tweeted it out around like the trust in your quarterback. Like, how do you know you have a quarterback? Is like if your coach trusts him to throw the ball when they're leading, which is like I think it's a good point, but it's also you don't want to confound that with just like the coach's belief in how you win football games, right? Where it's like, do you need the quarterback to be so good that he changes the coach's stubborn like belief system? But I think with Minnesota, that might be like a little of both, right? You've got O'Connell coming from having coached, like think about O'Connell's sort of PTSD, right? Like comes from the Rams where like they saw the Jared Goff thing happen. It's like, oh my God, I can never let my quarterback throw unless I absolutely have to. And like, we just want to run the ball. So it is interesting. The live angle that I was going to throw out here and wanted to get your take on Judah was going to, we're going to talk about this game, I think a little bit later, but going to Eagles Cowboys, and just wanted to get kind of the way that you approach like backup quarterbacks, if you do at all, and do you approach them differently for, good teams, bad teams? Like, is there a live betting angle to that you like?
Yeah, I think I'd be quicker to kind of back the Eagles, right? The market has made obviously a big move, right? Going from it was a 1.5 to now it's 4.5. We'll see where it closes probably on the other side of 3. And I think Robbie Greer has done a bunch of good work. And I think he wrote this up for PFF maybe a couple of years ago, that the market tends to overestimate the effects of a backup quarterback. I especially want to lean into that angle when you kind of have a stable organizational structure like the Eagles do, which is like you'd like to think the coaches are going to do a pretty good job. He's going to execute an offense, right? They're 13-1 for a reason. Yes, Jalen Hurts has been great. The surrounding context has also been terrific. Also, of all the backup quarterbacks, Gardner Minshew is one of the best ones. All of that is to say, it is kind of too much of a downgrade from Hurts to Minshew, and that's baked into the initial line, which is like all subsequent live movements going to be a reflection of. I want to kind of, if I see that like they're moving the ball well, I'm going to be willing to back the Eagles because I think it's a mispriced line.
Yeah, my kind of angle there, and we'll talk about the kind of the whole game, but from a live perspective is, I'm kind of waiting for Dallas to get out to a lead and going, actually, I still have faith in the Eagles, right? Like, okay, great. But I think that the market will really react to that. They'll be like, okay, well, now that the Cowboys have a lead, maybe Minshew throws some kind of fluky interception or something like that. I think that will be viewed super negatively, right? And I want to fade that narrative quite a bit. And I think the play that, whether it's Eagles kind of the spread as it balloons, but I actually, like the money line there. And just thinking about all of the ways that the Cowboys will blow this game is making me really excited. So I will expound on that a little bit later. Judah, this is always fantastic. Everyone can find your content on Twitter and on pff.com. And I got to ask you, it's Christmas Eve and Christmas. You do a wonderful live stream every single weekend, generally on Sunday. When can members of the printing press expect the live stream, if at all, this weekend? Because people are going to be sitting at home trying to find a way to avoid their family. Are you going to help them out there?
I'm sad to report I won't be. I unfortunately will be. I'm offline on Saturdays, so
okay. So nothing on Saturday and nothing on Sunday.
I mean, maybe something on Sunday. There's free games. You know what? We'll do something on Sunday for the members of the press. We will have something.
Members
on
of the
Sunday.
printing press are begging.
We need it. We need it.
Yeah, and that it sets up perfectly, right? Christmas Eve, people are all over the place. Like I'll be trying to buy Christmas gifts at that point. That's it's trying to figure life out. Christmas Day, it's perfect. You almost have been done. You've already done your duty, right? You've
That's right.
gotten the religious aspects out of the way. You don't have to go to church on Sunday. We do. We've got to come back and we're looking for your content.
There you go. So we'll be providing Sunday. We will do in the game trade for the members of the press. It's the
Yeah, you
holiday
can.
gifts we all need.
And you'll tweet it out. So anyone that's new here, you can find it. Go follow Judah on Twitter. And it's you tune in even for a few minutes. You'll get some great content. Learn a little bit about how to live trade games, how to live bet, ask some questions. Usually a really good crew of folks that are in there. It's just a lot of fun to engage in what will be a shitty slate of games on Sunday. So
Oh
you're gonna need it. Judah, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, good talk to you guys.
All right. It is now time for us to choose the lock of the Christmas week. No Tej today. The story is maturing, I guess, Brad, right? Like he's supposedly going to a casino. I don't know if do we know where Tej is?
Who's going to casino with the boys, or with the friends, I should say.
Okay.
I don't want to gender his casino crew. Yeah, look, like you said, we're old, we're washed up. These are young 20 somethings in college, home for Christmas break. I'm surprised he could even text us saying he wasn't going to be available.
I know.
There was a
I'm
couple typos
surprised
in
they
there,
let
but
him
he got
into
through
a
it.
casino, to be honest with you. But so we got to do our brother and Vishnu proud, and we got to pick some locks here. In his name, I'll go ahead and get us started, Brad. And go to I'm gonna go with actually my favorite one first, and this is gonna be I knew on Sunday night or on Monday, actually, I should say, when this news came out, where I was going to go with this. But it's Eagles +5. And Judah touched on it here. Robbie Greer, who has written for PFF and has a wonderful site. I want to say it's NFLelo.com. But you can follow him on Twitter at @rgreer, I think. Does some fantastic work. And he showed that Vegas tends to value how well a team will perform if they are good with a backup quarterback. And basically what this is saying is, look, great quarterbacks are great, but good teams make good quarterbacks look better than they are. And not saying that Jalen Hurts is bad by any stretch, but Gardner Minshew is also like a deserving starting quarterback in this league. And is going to be coming in and playing with a team that maybe has the best offensive line in the NFL, has A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and is playing, most importantly, the Dallas freaking Cowboys, who are just finding a way to decompose here. And, this is Gardner Minshew's Super Bowl. So, look, I don't know, obviously some sort of line movement is deserving here. Moving like basically 4 points, but also crossing 3 is just too rich for me. Like I would keep this at 3. I really would. The Cowboys are 10-4. They're 8-6 against the spread. Watch them play football. They are not a juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think it's unreasonable to say that the Eagles are just as good as the Cowboys with Gardner Minshew. And, Cowboys fans, if they want to get mad about that, go ahead. But I'm rolling with the Eagles +5, Brad.
Dallas Goedert also back for this game, which
That's
is
true.
Huge. Yeah.
Big.
Yeah. Yeah. Very big. So, no, I don't hate that one at all. I will jump into our next one. We took them last week. It was a bit of a fluky win with all the turnovers that Tampa Bay had that led to just a bunch of easy Cincinnati touchdowns. But nevertheless, I still just don't understand this spread against this week. They're -3 or -3.5, depending where you look, against the New England Patriots. The Bengals are 5th in e-paper play. The Patriots are 27th. I also think on the flip side of the ball, or with the Patriots offense, they also have the 6th worst success rate on dropbacks and the 2nd worst success rate on runs. And the way teams have beat the Bengals and Lou Anarumo's defense, which is playing great football, has been explosive plays. You can't, the Bengals' success rate on defense is top 7 in the NFL. So they don't let you kind of chip away at them. You can maybe beat them over the top with some of their young defensive backs, but
Mhm.
Patriots are not going to do that, right? So I just think it's too short of a spread. The Patriots to me are kind of similar to the Buccaneers and how they're playing right now, just not very good football, can't really run very well. And the defense is, I don't think, as good as we want it to be. I think Judah nailed it too there. Like you take out the Zach Wilson games and the games against
Mhm.
backups, and their defense is okay. So I love Cincinnati again.
Can't argue with you there. Despite the comeback from Bill Belichick after that pathetic performance, but I think all the signs point to that. By the way, there's a lot of bad weather in the U.S. It's going to be like 75 in Southern California, so I am not experiencing that. But there's like a bomb cyclone going on. And you're seeing a ton of really low totals across the league. Temperatures in the 20s, real feels in like the negatives. So that's just in case anyone's looking at the board and be like, why are these totals so freaking low? But one of the areas that I'm going to place it with a total of 35.5, which is low, but not the lowest. It's not quite Saints Browns. And the Titans over the Texans. Now, the Titans have been bad. And we really liked them kind of early on. That's something that they've lost 4 straight. They've failed to cover in 4, although they pushed against the closing line against the Chargers. But this particular matchup is one that I really like for the Titans. They've played, like, let's look at the teams that they've lost to. They have lost to the Bengals, the Eagles, the Jags, and the Chargers. And those are all good teams. And the Texans, Brad, are not a good team. They're a very, very bad team. They're the worst team in the NFL. And so I think you're getting the Titans here at a really nice buy opportunity. They're not out of this. This is a must-win game for the Titans, right? They are still a playoff team despite this disastrous slide. And so, they're going to come out guns blazing. They're going to put the Texans away. This is like a Derrick Henry runs for 400 yards in this game type of situation. And so I will take the Titans -3 with my next pick.
So I see it the same way, but it is a Malik Willis game. I don't know if you knew that or not. I don't think it really
Wait,
changes.
is it official?
It seems like it's pretty close to official.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, yeah, Tannehill might be out for the year, according to some reports. That's not official yet, but I would be surprised if he plays this weekend.
I'm tempted to just ride with it, but
I kind of like it because, look, I mean, again, 4 points. Look, Malik Willis has been erratic when he's played, but I think Derrick Henry will run the ball down their throat. I don't think Houston even wants to win football games at this point. And honestly, Willis might just rip off some scrambles and runs himself against the worst run defense in the NFL, which is the Houston Texans. So I kind of still like it.
I'm kind of still on it. Okay, your next one.
Yep. So we talked about this one a bit on Sunday as well. The Miami Dolphins against the Green Bay Packers. We didn't know the spread because the Packers played last night, obviously, but it came back out at 4. I want to say it was 4 on the look ahead as well, maybe 4.5. But kind of dove into this one a little bit more. We talked about how Mike McDaniel is going to just eviscerate the Packers over the middle. They just cannot stop the run. They can't stop, over the middle, and he's going to keep doing those things. They bounced back well against Buffalo, and there were a lot of positives there. Something I found interesting on the other side of the ball. So the Dolphins have the 3rd best EPA per rush allowed when facing outside zone, inside zone, and pull lead runs, which is 75% of what the Packers run in their run game. And the Dolphins have the 3rd best EPA per rush against that. It's a decent sample size. Most teams are running half of their runs or outside zone, inside zone. So it's not like I'm looking at some tiny little, sample. So I think they'll do well against the run. They're getting a little bit healthier on defense right now. They had some kind of guys in secondary banged up, but defensive line, Bradley Chubb in the fold. Christian Wilkins has been playing some phenomenal football with the Packers. Yeah, I mean, they looked okay against the Rams. They moved the ball fairly well. Christian Watson, yada, yada. But it was a lot of just A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones kind of getting 6-7 yards a clip, which I don't think happens here. I think it's a bit of an overcorrection. We had a positive Packers game, but they're a bad football team. So I like Miami here -4.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. I actually see 3.5. So
there you go.
Let's grab that. Okay, it is teaser time.
Yeah.
Got some teasers here. Okay. Let's start with this one. So I love this teaser leg. I like the Rams on Monday night. They probably should have covered that game. Like bad Baker interception, things didn't quite break right for them in that game. They now play at home against the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos stink. They are terrible. The total on this game is 36.5. The Broncos, it was the best joke we've had all year. You talking about Russell Wilson finally scoring more than 20 points when he played 21 instead of playing in the game. He went to a casino instead. But even though the Rams are out of it, is a prideful team. They don't have any reason to tank here. And Baker is playing kind of for his like career here. So total 36.5. I like teasing the Rams out to 8.5 in that game. And I like pairing it with a couple of different options. The first that I'll mention is the Raiders, who are in Pittsburgh. You can tease them out to 8.5 as well. The Steelers are somehow a favorite in this game. And I get that the Raiders are not good, but the Steelers are worse in my opinion. And they have the worst quarterback. So I'm roll with the Raiders there at plus 8.5. The other teaser legs that I like, just to kind of get them all out there, Brad, we talked about the Jaguars out to 7.5 on Thursday night. I like the Niners down from 7-1 against the Commanders, as well as the Bills out from 8.5 down to 2.5 in Chicago, which will be an absolutely frigid game. Those are the ones that I like. I think the Sunday night one that we talked about, Bucks down to 1.5 as well, I'll throw in. But those are the teaser legs that I've got cooking right now.
I had every one of those I was about to mention, except for the Bills one, but I do like that. I saw it's down to 8.5 now from 9.5. It is a bad weather game. But the Bears, a bunch of injuries up front to the offensive line. Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borum. I think Cody Whitehair might not play, although him playing, give up 4 sacks. He was atrocious the last game, so it's probably a benefit for Chicago. But I agree with all those. My favorites are the Raiders and the Niners. I mean, the Raiders one, it's like the spread is like they forgot Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow are back. Like, I don't understand that spread at all. It's going to be Kenny Pickett, but I mean, him and Trubisky are somewhat interchangeable. I think Pickett's better, but not by some, wide margin. So yeah, of those many choice, and I'm glad you went there too, because we went away from the teasers, which I think was good, but I love teasers this week. And Raiders, Niners, my 2 favorite.
Okay. The little like former Bay Area bros teaser is what that is.
Yeah.
But what is your take on the Rams angle? Are you out on the Rams or?
No, I like the Rams one as well. The battle of the Walmart owners, you gotta factor that in. It's family blood there. But no, I agree. I mean, look, it's just the Rams are still playing, and Baker Mayfield's trying to, save his job. I think they could lose, but they're not going to lose by 8.5 points. I mean, the Broncos just cannot cover that. They barely covered that against Trace McSorley on like half a leg. So I think we're safe there.
Broncos are so bad. All right, where are you going to next? You got any more?
No, those were literally everything. So
okay. Where's your head at? Like,
I think we should do 2 teasers, 2 different teasers.
Okay.
I think Raiders and what did I just say? Raiders, Niners, and then maybe Bucks and the Rams.
Okay.
Saints are a leg too. Just throw that out there. Saints are so the weather is so bad in Cleveland. It's going to be like 40-mile-an-hour winds. Nick Chubb did not practice today. The Browns you can run on, and the Saints offensive line is so good. Couple injuries, but still fine. Same thing. You get them up to 8.5. I think the game. I mean, the total's 32.5 points, whatever it is. Like you talk about. I mean, when you have sub 35 totals and you can tease 8.5, it's probably a good value.
Kind of a cheat code. I really like that one actually.
Yeah,
that one's interesting. Okay, so let's do Saints. And what about the Bucks?
I like Saints Bucks.
I mean, if Tom Brady can't beat Trace McSorley, what are we doing here? Right? Like,
yeah, no, it's got to happen. It's got to happen.
What are we doing here? And then I'm on board with Niners Raiders. Let's put the Eagles in there.
Yeah, so 2 teasers. Throw the Eagles in. I like it. Do you want to? Are we sticking with a 3-pack, or are we trying to juice it up for the holiday? I think we got to boost it a little bit.
Okay, let's boost her. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
What do you
so
think
we have
about
two.
Bengals?
I mean, the Christmas spirit. Why
Christmas
not?
spirit.
Do
All
we
right, throw it
have
in
do we
there, and then
have
I'll now
any?
mention our guy Tej.
Yeah,
He liked your Titans play. He liked your Eagles play. So he's on both of those. So I think we have to have those in there. And then he had Travis Etienne under 67.5 rushing yards. If we wanted to have some type of play on tomorrow's game, I also think we should tease Jaguars. But
we
I think the
should
people
tease the
deserve
Jags.
something on a holiday Thursday, right?
Yeah, that's very fair. It's very fair. I wonder if the Jags tease is the right move.
I think Jags tease the move. So we have plenty of legs left. So what are we
How many
teasing?
legs?
The
All
Jaguars
the
win.
legs here. Oh my goodness.
We're an ant over here. We're about to be a spider.
Good Lord. Cue me hitting you up on Sunday to figure out what we actually teased.
Yeah, I'm gonna save this clip.
Oh my goodness. And just trying to put these bets in is going to be a complete nightmare.
It is. All right. So we have Saints, Niners, right? And then Raiders, Rams. I don't know.
No,
We got
Saints,
a lot of teasers going.
Saints, Bucks.
Yes.
Okay. So locks of the week: Saints, Bucks, teaser; Raiders, and Niners, teaser, the old Bay Area. We have Eagles +5. And then we're going to do Jags +7.5. And let's tease that with Rams +8.5. That gives us a little Sunday option.
Love it.
And so that gives us 4. Those are 4 locks.
And then it's the Titans one. If you want to take the shot on Malik Willis, going up against the dynamic duo of Jeff Driscoll and Davis Mills.
You like that, or do you like the Bengals more?
I think I like the Bengals more. I think it's just a great matchup.
Yeah. Let's go Bengals.
All right. Bengals.
That's a 5-pack.
Yeah.
Christmas 5-pack.
5 golden rings.
Yeah. By the way, for all members of the printing press that are out there, we are probably not going to do Christmas night live because we figure that's not going to be a super popular time for people to like tune in. If you want to hit us up on like Twitter or something, let us know what would be like an ideal time. We're still trying to figure it out. Current thesis is that sometime Monday, either live after the game on Monday night or before the game sometime on Monday is the right time to record. But, holler at us and that'll help us figure it out. Brad, have a wonderful Christmas. Looking forward to printing with all of you. So love you. Talk to you later. Peace.